GRC stands for Governance, Risk, and Compliance. That is, how does the organization manage the risk and the compliance with certain regulations dependent on your sector. And what I mean by that is, if you're in the financial sector, there's certain rules and regulations your organization has to meet. If you're in the retail sector, there's certain things that your organization has to meet. If you're in the government, and so on and so forth. Each one of these, healthcare, all of them have their own regulations and laws and acts and things that they have to meet. And C is it's a path that is making sure that the organization is in line with those regulations. And there's certain standards and documents that will help us out. Like in the government, you have NIST 800 that guides you through how to actually comply with the federal government's protection of federal information and federal information systems. That is GRC in a nutshell. How do we comply? It's not always hacking or software engineering or any of that. Like, it's a much broader look and perspective of the organization and how we comply with the larger government entity or with the larger body of entities that are controlling credit cards or whatever it is, right? That is GRC in a nutshell. Now, that said, if you are in cybersecurity, hell, I would say even in IT, there is a path to GRC, and I'll name a couple that should open up the door to you to turn that light bulb on for you. One of them is the security policy. The security policy is one of the most important pieces of GRC. So if you've ever touched a security policy, if you've ever helped to modify it, if you've ever read a security policy, you'll have an idea of what it is, and it might even be something you could put on your resume. It depends on how you word it. I'm not telling you to lie on your resume or anything like that. I'm saying this is one way to do it. We want to put this kind of stuff on our resume. GRC stuff consists of security policies. If you've ever written one, that's really good stuff. If you've ever written a procedure, which most of you guys, if you've been in IT, you've done it before. If you've ever written a procedure, that's GRC type work. If you've ever done continuous monitoring, if you've ever done continued disaster recovery, if you've ever looked at audit logs, all of those things are part of GRC. Now, your job is to figure out what part of GRC it's in. Now, if you're in the government sector, there's tons of stuff you already do all the time that's in line with FISMA, which is a federal regulation. One of them would be vulnerability management is a good one. So vulnerability management, if you applied patches on 2,000 systems throughout an organization, you would want to put in there that you spearheaded the vulnerability management team. That's like you probably didn't spearhead it, right? Maybe you were a part of vulnerability management team that secured 10,000 systems across the enterprise in align with NIST 853 controls, because that's what you're doing. You're applying security controls from the NIST 800 if you're in the federal government now, and you need to put that in your resume because that's what you did. But see, a lot of IT guys who work in the federal government, they don't know that they did that. They're just doing stuff. So you already are on the path. If you're in IT, you just got to know how to word it on your resume. Now, the path. Let me pull out a little bit. I don't know where you are, King Sosa, in your career. I'm gonna pull out, kind of hit a deeper view here. So let's say you're an IT dude, you're on a help desk. So what you want to do is highlight all the cybersecurity stuff that you've done. Now, if you're already in cybersecurity, you're doing cybersecurity analyst work, or you're a cybersecurity specialist of some type, or whatever you have that role, that is awesome. That's great. You still need to hit the notes that they want to hear on your resume for GRC. Security policies, writing procedures, making sure that it's in line with whatever standard is out there. Now, the path forward is to know which regulations you need to hit. I can tell you from a bird's eye view, retail, PCI compliance. Financial sector is going to be, it can be PCI as well, but Sarbanes-Oxley is a big one for financial institutions and some banks. And then for government, NIST 800, also NIST cybersecurity framework is another one. For healthcare, it's going to be HIPAA, HITRUST. Those will lead you in the right direction if you want to put those on your resume as much as possible. All aspects of those things. The first thing you need to do on your path to a GRC is learn the hell I just said. If you're in retail, then you're an IT guy in retail or cybersecurity guy in retail, read up on PCI compliance and then put that in your resume of how you've been doing it. That's the path forward with GRC stuff right there.